Omicron, the University of San Francisco, Brother Mark A. Roberts.
Thank you, Aoi, and thank you, brothers, for your time this morning, and for this opportunity to present to you my reasons for seeking the new position of Vice President for Organizational Development and my plans and goals if elected. I have been privileged to serve on the fraternity's Executive Committee and Board for the past biennium as Vice President for Alumni Benefits and Services and as the Chairman of the National Alumni Development Committee. I have enjoyed working with other committed volunteer leaders and a dedicated central office staff on the challenges and opportunities that Delta Sigma Pi faces on a day-by-day and year-by-year basis. When the VPOD position was adopted by the Grand Chapter Congress as part of the new governance structure 2 years ago, I knew that I wanted the opportunity to serve the fraternity in this capacity. My fraternity and leadership foundation background, with 4 years as a central office staff member and more than 20 years as a volunteer leader on the local, regional, and national levels, and my professional background, including 14 years of experience in college and university alumni relations, development, and advancement, led me to seek an office that would allow me to help our organization and all of our brothers look beyond the horizon and around the curve. As we look to our future and begin to develop the plan, the fraternity needs to ensure that we are fully utilizing our assets. We need to focus on optimizing the use of all of our resources, improving our standing in the academic and business communities, preparing future leaders, improving communications between and among all constituencies in our organization, and planning together with the Leadership Foundation to ensure that we make the most of our upcoming centennial. I immediately realized that the task of organizational development and strategic planning must involve collegiate and alumni brothers. When it comes to vital issues such as recruiting and membership development, collegiate members are on the front lines. The fraternity's continued growth and success depends upon the ability of our collegiate chapters to attract the best and brightest new members and to provide an experience that will stimulate them to fully live up to the ideals of Delta Sigma Pi. They will then want to remain actively involved with the fraternity for decades to come as alumni brothers who want to give back to the fraternity in order to perpetuate that tradition of growth and success. One of the primary responsibilities and goals of the VPOD is to identify what the fraternity needs to do during the next 5 years to remain proactive and ahead of the curve and to secure the resources needed to turn plans into reality. Without a doubt, our brothers are our most valuable resource. Our alumni have real-world experience and all the skill sets we need to succeed. Our collegiate members have tremendous energy, enthusiasm, and new ideas, qualities that remind us why it's always so important to be looking ahead. Let's do an even better job of tapping into the potential for even greater accomplishment that exists within all of us. Another resource that's important to us as we look to the future is the academic community. The fraternity must more actively develop and enhance its relationship and reputation with college and university administrators. This is especially important on campuses where we have chapters, but we must extend this effort to all colleges and universities with business programs to help define the role of the professional fraternity. All people, including administrators and deans, tend to be afraid of things and concepts they don't fully understand. We must help them recognize the benefits that Delta Sigma Pi can offer to them, their schools, and their students. While we're looking at the academic community, let's do a better job of utilizing the resources that its members represent. I propose that we prepare a survey instrument for business school deans and for our Delta Sig faculty advisors that will let them tell us about the trends they foresee and what they anticipate will happen in business education, including enrollment forecasts over the next 5 years. That information will help us determine what's coming and how to plan for that future. Planning for continued growth and success requires that we also be able to identify and prepare new leaders for that future. Based upon information that Central Office already maintains on the participation of each brother in events such as regional leads, provincial conferences, and Grand Chapter Congresses, I propose that we create LeaderBase. This database will make it easier to identify and contact brothers who are ready to serve in new and greater capacities. For example, a new regional vice president who is looking for a district director for a particular chapter can access LeaderBase, specify the event experience that he or she is seeking, the geographic area, and get a list of prospective district directors. It is my hope that we will be able to help all RVPs provide every collegiate and alumni chapter with a district director beginning this fall. A big part of developing confidence when working with other people as a leader or a peer are personal communication skills. While we must continue to plan for and provide state-of-the-art technology, we must also position Delta Sigma Pi as the business organization that provides the best opportunities to its members to develop their communication skills with real people. I've grown up and built a career during a period when fax machines, Post-it notes, personal computers, and email were hailed as innovations. But the skills that are most important to my career involve communicating with people by letter, phone conversation, and most important, face-to-face. Delta Sigma Pi helped me develop these skills, and I will always be grateful. It's one of the reasons that I want to give back to the fraternity. That's why I think it's so important that the fraternity and all of our chapters provide the opportunities to our brothers to help them be as articulate and persuasive in a letter, on the phone, and in person as they are in front of a monitor, mouse, and keyboard. Producing graduates with consistently superior communication skills will also attract the attention of company recruiters and the business community in general. This is one way that we can raise the consciousness about the benefits the Delta Sigs bring to their companies and the good sense that a strengthened relationship between them and the fraternity would make. Communication between collegians and alumni is also high on my agenda. I am very excited about the new Collegiate Chapter Office, the Vice President for Alumni Relations, or VPAR, and how it will help keep a chapter's collegiate and alumni members connected. We need to make the experience of these new officers as positive as possible so that interaction with alumni will become a regular part of chapter operations. I've already been in touch by email with several new VPARs, and I'm really impressed by their enthusiasm and desire to succeed. Alumni chapters, the VPARs at your local collegiate chapters will be your liaison and your connection to recruiting the best new members each and every year. The payoff for each chapter and for the whole fraternity in terms of greater alumni participation and support will be enormous. These are some of my goals and plans of elected VPOD. We're privileged to already have as members of the Organizational Development Committee several experienced and visionary brothers. To this team of seasoned veterans, I want to add deans or Delta Sig faculty members, recent graduates, and current collegiate members so that we can all benefit from the variety of perspectives and priorities as we update and expand upon the fraternity's strategic plan. While the plan we create will be a document, it will also be a living action plan that will affect all of us and in which we will all participate. The Organizational Development Committee will welcome input and ideas from all brothers. We can never forget that we're all in this together, brothers, chapters, regions, and provinces. As our National Honorary Initiate, Patty Holmes, said on Wednesday, we should plan to be an inspiration to the brothers at Congress 20 years from now. With plans, dreams, action, and a positive vision of our future, we will succeed. Brothers, I offer you my ideas, my goals, my ability to listen, my professional experience, my nearly 25 years of active participation in the fraternity and the Leadership Foundation, my enthusiasm, and my commitment to serving you and Delta Sigma Pi to the best of my ability as the first Vice President for Organizational Development. I especially look forward to working with the fraternity board members and foundation trustees as we prepare to celebrate Delta Sigma Pi's centennial in 2007. Based upon what we've accomplished during the first 94 years, I believe the next 6 years and the following 100 look promising indeed. For our future, I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Mark Mikalat, your candidate for Vice President, Organizational Development.
Good morning, everybody. Wow, it's a pleasure to be here. I am California Mark Mikalat. I am proud to be a Delta Sigma Pi, and I am proud to be your candidate for Vice President of Organizational Development. And this is a very confusing and ambiguous position because it's new. Remember that governance task force that's all confusing? Well, this is a new position created under that. And I'm going to tell you how I think. No, that's wrong. I'm going to tell you how I'm confident that I can work well in this position. I'll give you specific examples of how I can perform this position and what I've been doing for the last 2 years to prove that to you. And I'll do that in 4 specific points. I'm going to tell you about my Delta Sigma Pi experience in organizational development, specifically. Allison alluded to it a little bit. I'll expand upon it. 3, I'll tell you about my plan. And right now I call it my plan, not Delta Sigma Pi's plan, because it needs your feedback, your information, and I've been collecting it for 2 years. You've seen me at the regionals taking notes. You saw me taking notes earlier this week. I'm always asking you questions because I want it to be your plan. Right now it's my plan because it's not done. I don't have enough feedback from all of you. And then finally, the 4th point, experience and what that means in this position, specifically for the Vice President of Organizational Development. Number 1, Delta Sigma Pi. 10 years I've been an alumni of Delta Sigma Pi. For 5 of those years I was a district director. A fabulous experience in my life, and I've met a lot of people, made some great friendships, and it's been a fabulous experience, and I wouldn't exchange that for anything. I'm going to give you 2 specific examples. I only have a limited amount of time, so I'll give you 2 specific examples where I identified a problem and resolved it. And both of these will refer to ritual in very vague terms because I'm respecting the fact that we have guests in the room. Jamie Ball, in my seconding speech yesterday, talked about when she was a regional director, I was a district director under her. There was a multi-school initiation in Colorado that was for Zeta Kappa, Alpha Rho, Mu Chi, and Mu Rho. 3 days before the initiation ceremony, 500 people were to be in attendance. We discovered, now let me correct myself, she discovered that there was to be a hearing impaired pledge in the room. And those of you who are brothers know that part of our history can only be passed down by word of mouth. It can only be passed down by word of mouth. You know exactly what I'm referring to. Well, that's impossible if someone's deaf. I didn't care. I learned sign language in 3 days so that I could do that part. So that everybody could have a positive experience in that. Second example, second specific example is right here. It's on page 66. When I was a district director for Gamma Omega, one of the collegiates mentioned that, Mark, you know what, we really don't honor the graduating seniors. How come we don't do that? There's no ritual for that. Well, maybe no one's thought of it. Let's write one. So we did. 2 specific examples of problems, identified the problems, and resolved them. That's my first point, Delta Sigma Pi experience. My second point, organizational development experience. Remember, this is a brand new position. It creates the operational and strategic plans of the fraternity and implements them. Do I have experience doing that? Yes, I do. That $8 million project, that was a bear. I'm on the phone with Bulgaria, the Czech Republic, Brazil, I can't even remember all the countries right now, developing their strategic and operational plans and integrating them across multiple currencies, multiple cultures, multiple languages, multiple time zones. Can I use those same skills and experience to do the same thing for Delta Sigma Pi? Yes, I can. I've also developed strategic plans for the Southern California Special Olympics, for the Santa Monica Promenade Shopping Center, a top 10 tourist destination in the United States, as well as an international music distribution company. Developing the operational and strategic plans of these large, multi-million-dollar, 10,000 employee corporations. Can I do the same thing for Delta Sigma Pi? Yes, I can. So that was organizational development experience. I have it. The third one, the plan. It's BLAST. When I first learned about this 2 years ago, I was excited about the position, and I called Robert Tavares. He's your chancellor. I called him, and we had an email discussion a little bit as well to learn more about the position. And since that time, I've been preparing myself by asking you, because you remember from your marketing class, it's marketing research. You learn what your market wants, what they need, what they require, and then you create that. And that's what BLAST is. B is brotherhood. L is leadership foundation. A is affiliations. S is student and alumni feedback. And T is talent. Because you all said the best thing about Delta Sigma Pi is the brotherhood. We cannot forget that. That's B. That's number one. That's the first letter because that's the most important thing. The leadership foundation. 10 of you went to leadership just a few weeks ago. You had a fabulous time. And this is what is preparing you for the corporate world. This is what the corporate world loves, that they have motivated, dedicated leaders who know this stuff. This is the type of training that can cost you $5 grand a day in the corporate world. Affiliations, A. Remember commercial world from our purpose? I would love IBM to have a Delta Sigma Pi internship program. Let's tell them what a great organization we are. Like, we can provide these people who are motivated, who are leaders, who have time management skills, who have organizational skills for your internship programs. Let's find those people in the commercial world and establish those ties. S, student and alumni feedback. It's your plan, not mine. You know, in real life, I'm 6'4", 240 pounds. I look like I'm about 25 feet tall right there. That's pretty scary over there. I am putting on a hat because I'm only 25 feet tall and it's kind of hard to see me. So I want you to find this hat for the next couple of days, and I want you to tell me. I want you to talk to me because this is your plan. Student and alumni feedback. T, talent. Let's find those people who are talented alumni in Delta Sigma Pi and let's bring them back to the chapters. Let's have them tell you how to write resumes, how to prepare your career path, how to do that interview. Determine if you want to go accounting but you don't really like accounting, or help you develop that career path. That was 3. That's the plan. BLAST. B-L-A-S-T. 4, experience in Vice President of Organizational Development. How many people in Delta Sigma Pi have experience in that position? This many. It's a new position. Could I have all the seated delegates give a quick round of applause? Could I have all the seated delegates who have experience being a delegate give a round of applause? That's 1/5 of you. Do you need experience being a delegate to be a delegate? No. Do you need experience being Vice President of Organizational Development to be Vice President of Organizational Development? No, it's not even possible. Nobody has experience in this position. Do I have experience developing operational and strategic plans? Yes, I do. So in conclusion, gave you an example of my Delta Sigma Pi experience, how I saw specific problems and resolved them. 2, gave you an example of specific examples of experience in the area of organizational development. 3, we walked you through BLAST. My plan, remember, because I haven't gotten enough feedback yet, come see me and talk to me. BLAST is the plan. And then 4, experience. VP of Org Dev, nobody has it. California Mark Mikalat, proud to be a Delta Sigma Pi.